Hello, listeners. Hi, my name is Madhavi, and I'm so happy to have you on Upptalk. You have come to the right place if you want to learn about IT and do really cool things with your hands. We are not just another IT company when I say Upptalk. Think of us as your learning partner dedicated to helping you reach your full potential. We have top notch hands on courses to help you build your business, whether you are new to technology or want to move up in your current job. Let's look around this as our first step towards learning.
So today we will start with the payroll building blocks. So last session we went with this work crew building blocks. So this session we will go with these items. Payroll building blocks. So before that, Kiran, a quick overview on what we saw yesterday also. Yesterday main item. What you need to know is the holidays. So for a particular year, we'll have a set of holidays for each families. State-wise, there will be some holidays. National-wide, there'll be some holidays. So all these things are stored under this holidays. Under people, there is a holiday. So here, what we will have is, you will have a holiday name. We will have the like what display name, which should provide the Kronos and then just the date. If it is New Year, means 11212. That is for the length of the length. Like if it's a state holiday or national holiday or just a particular region's holiday, everything will be loaded here. And then this will be assigned to the payroll based on the region. Noise. So we'll have different payrolls for different states. Anyway, you are providing the recorded videos, so I will go through. The like, this is what like, we just create it and save it, that's it. We'll view the date, that's it. Nothing here. I'll go through that as I find the locations. That's about the holidays, and then we jump into the payroll building blocks. So what we have in the payroll building blocks is, we'll come to the holiday credit rules at the last. We have sign off restriction, pungent reputation, processing on a fixer tools and work period. First we will go to sign off restriction. What is sign off restrictions? This will not be like applicable to all the payrolls and it's not mandatory. If needed, we can use it. Even all the four options is like optional only. But most companies use pungent reputation and fixer tool is kind of mandatory. And most companies use pungent reputation too also. So first let's see what is sign off restriction. Sign off restriction is nothing. So once a particular paper is complete, the manager will go into the employee's time card and will try to approve his time card. Once a particular week, or if it's a bi-weekly, the employee or manager will go in and will try to approve his time card. So at that time, we know that there are two levels of approval. One is normally approving the time card, which is here. And the second one is signing off. That's the second level of approval. You're aware of this. First level is normally approving of the time card and second level is sign off. So first level is mostly done by the manager and second level by the end of the HR or the payroll admin. So once we try to sign off the time card, we can have some restriction that if an employee is having a missed punch or is having an unexcused absence, we can make the system to draw an error when he's trying to sign off. And we'll ask him to fix it up. Example, if you see this particular condition here, the employee is having one unexcused absence. The employee is scheduled to work, but he is not available. So in this case, the manager needs to, like manager or payroll admin, he needs to enter something here in the payroll like unexcused absence and put some hours to that. Like unpaid means we need to put something and cover it up so that this exception goes off. Only then the manager will like him. He will be able to do it all. If an employee is on vacation for this particular day, he needs to enter it and fix this particular exception. Only then he will be able to save it out. Now it's not going, but usually when you put the vacation, it will be gone. So it's based on the pay code. And again, one more item is missed punches. Sometimes the employees might like when we swipe in a swipe port, we might miss the swipe. Like here, the employee is scheduled to work at 4 am. He might have missed the swipe in and he would have only swiped out. So in that case, the employee will be having missed a punch. So the manager or the payroll admin needs to fix it. So if we enable the tick mark there like this to not allow when the employee is having missed a punch, this means in that case the manager needs to fix the missed a punch only, and then the system will allow you to do the sign off. If now I try to do the sign off, it will throw some error. Currently we have not mapped, but if you have mapped something, it will say like unable to sign off. That is what this does. This is an optional one. It's not used widely, but some companies will use it for the missed punches so that the manager is aware of it. It is just to throw an error when he's trying to updo, like when he's trying to updo the time, that's sign of the time. Any doubts on this? Clear on this? If needed, we can create one. We can create, say I'll create for Austin. We can create one for our payroll also with Great Austin, and we'll say that when the employee is having missed punches, it should not allow you to sign off this time. We are saving it. So we have one sign off restriction that if an employee is having missed one, it does not allow you to sign off. Now that's all about sign off restriction. Now let's go to work. Week divide. So if you see here, currently no one is using it. Whoever has done the training here has not created anything. I'll just give you an overview. This is not used much. So this for what purpose? We use this standard like bonus. It will follow Sunday through Saturday as a particular week or Monday through Sunday. If you see here, the particular paper will start on Monday. Example, if I see you see here a particular paper, as if I sign off it, it signs off from this Sunday through this Saturday. So a particular paper is starting from 9/6. From 11/6 to 11/12 is what a particular paper is. It starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday. This is how the by default from us does. If some companies needs that to be changed, and then they can use this. What is this split day of the week? Currently we have it as Sunday. If they want to change that, they can have a chooser, a particular day and particular time. Usually it's a layer. So that from that particular by, as per like a day, the paper will start. Currently it's starting on Sunday. If you want to change the paper to start on a different day, then we can do that. Any confusion here? No, we're just changing the standard one. That's what it's like. When we actually work, it starts. Usually we will not do it. Some companies might have discrepancy and say that their work will start on Monday. Few companies. In that case, they will ask the Kronos to change it by default to Monday. So that Kronos can do. Or for few location alone. If they want to change it out, then they will do it here. So that is the reason no one has created it. Usually you will not do it. That is what you work with. Then what we need to know is I'll go through the processing order. This is also a least used one. So let me open one of the existing and show you. Here, what we do is usually Kronos will process the items based on a particular order. Example, if you see here we will have all the overtimes, we'll have all these zones, we will have the like, whatever we have created. These items will come here. Let me scroll down. All the schedule deviation, all the zones rest between shifts, like everything will come here. This will be processed in a normal order, how we have configured it in the combination rule or the pay code distribution, which, like when both of them come, we should get priority, and how it should be paid. Everything we have already configured. But what this processing order does it? We can give priority like apart from the priority which we have given in the combination rule. We can bypass that and give a super priority, a particular overtime or something, say, whatever happens, let it happen. But when this particular overtime comes, then it should get the first priority means we can give it like that. We can select and put it here so that whatever it is, when this overtime comes, this will get the first priority. Apart from other zones or whatever, maybe the system, this will get the first priority. It will bypass whatever we have configured in combination rule and pay code distributions. This may not be used, but I'm just giving you a overtime because normally this will be processed chronologically how it is configured. If you want to bypass them and give priority to a particular overtime or zone, we can use this. Now let me go to the funge interpretation code. One set. One second. I'll start again. So funge integration, this has some importance. So let me tell you how it works. So there are two options here. One is simple and one is full. So let's start with the simple. First, we'll configure this to we'll give the same name as the last one. What this does is we can like say employees are scheduled to work from 8 a.m. to. So we can here define up to how much time before or after the employee can start to work. Say we can give a margin of 1 hour before which the employee can start. That means up from 7 to 8 he can start to work. But if he's coming before 7 and trying to swipe in the clock, we can reject that much. Getting me what I'm telling? So if an employee, yes, exactly. they're not alone before 7 o'clock. If I give in this in reality start prescription, I need to give 1 hour. That means whatever is the time he's scheduled to work up to 1 hour before he can punch. If he tries to punch in before 1 hour, it'll reject it. And again, what is this yearly start margin and late start margin means? If an employee is trying to punch in before 1 hour, it will reject it. Now, I have not configured this properly. I'm just giving you an example. But if I give restriction, I don't want to reject a punch. But let's say I'm not rejecting any punch, but let's keep it like 24. So it will not reject any punch, whatever the time the employee comes in. But what I can do is another item. What I can do is, if you see here, this employee starts from 8 am. 4. If I give 5 am. To pute. Here, if you can see here, and if I save it, it's currently taking it along with the schedule. Whatever the time, if I give, it is taking it with the schedule. Even if I give 3 am, it is taking with the schedule in the same line it's coming. Now, if I give 3 am, you can see here, the schedule goes in another row. This becomes an unscheduled punch. You can see here what I'm doing. So this is where the margin starts. We saw a restriction. What margin says means if I give early start margin as 4 hours, if the schedule is starting at 8 am, that means 7654 up to 4 am he can start. If he starts at 4 am, the system will consider him along with the schedule line. You can see here. Now it has come back again to this one. I can show early start or late start or whatever. But if I give something before that 4 am, which is more than the 4 hours window, what we'll do is create a new line setting that is unscheduled punch. Setting that the system will not consider the employee has worked on this shift. He has come randomly sometime. So that is what we have for early start margin. And same for late start margin. Late start margin. If a shift starts and he comes to work up to 4 hours after the shift start, it will consider along with the shift. If he's coming more than 4 hours or more per minute, it will consider him to be working in an unscheduled shift. Are you on this? In our case, what we will do is we'll create a want which states early start margin is 1 hour. And early start restriction is 2 hours. Late start margin is again 1 hour. So that means he can come to work and punch in within 1 hour before or after to consider it to be with a shift. If he is coming more than 1 hour later, more than 1 hour early, it will not consider him to the shift, but it will allow him up to 2 hours. If he is trying to start before 2 hours, it will reject the punch. Same with the late. We have for late. Also, we have late restriction. Up to 1 hour after his shift ends, he can punch out. If he is trying to punch out more than like 1 hour late, it will not allow him. Again, what we have here is missed punch, start and end margin. So this is how here I have given 1 hour. What this means like let me give it as maybe 3 hours. My shift starts at 8 o'clock. And I see there is no. The system sees my shift started at 8 o'clock and the system will wait till 9, 10 and 11. At 3 hours, It will wait and see if he is putting punch for that particular day. If he's not putting a punch for that particular day up to 3 hours, if there's no swipes received from the clock, it will flag it as missed punch. So after how many hours of the shift start, the system should consider that the employer has missed a punch. So let's go into the last item, which is the mandatory one used across the other uploads. Let me first save it out. We have one more option here, which will be that whether we need to allow these unscheduled punch or not, that we can define here. And again, if I send this to full option, it means we'll get some additional options here along with what we have. There is what to say. Along with the late start restriction, there is the late start margin also. So previously we had only early start restriction. Now we have late start restriction. And again, we'll have some additional options. That's it. And what else we have? And also what this full add is, we can have same restriction for the breaks also. How much time he can take a break. After how much time, if he takes a break, you need to start it as we need to cancel it out. And how soon, if you are assigning a break at 12 am, how soon he can start. 50 minutes before 30. So if you are assigning break at 12:30 to 1 p.m., he can start his break at the maximum from 12:15, not beyond that. And he can start the break at the late at most 12:45, not beyond that. So that window for breaks is what we add extra if we use full. In the symbol, we will have only schedule start and schedule. In the full options, we will also have the same budget interpretation go for breaks if needed. So let me save and return on this. So are you both near to the system? The previous requirement which I gave, are you able to work on that requirement which I gave? This, I think once again not this. I gave this requirement. So next item for today is the last topic, monthly payrolls, which is fixed payroll. This has some significant importance. This will be used across all of course. The reason is this is what defines whether the employer is weekly, bi-weekly or monthly. You can see here, if it's weekly, we need to choose days and give 7. Here, if it's bi-weekly, we need to choose 14. Here, and if it is monthly, we need to choose monthly. Semi-monthly. Mostly we are not using it, but we use these 3 items. So this is what, let's say that our payroll people, these all belongs to bi-weekly. So I'm going to change them to 14 days, which is bi-weekly. And what is our day divide? When our day ends and starts, it's totally able, so fine. Our day ends and starts at 12 am, that's me. Then another important thing which comes is hours belong to. Why this is we have 4 hours on the day schedule out there, day with majority hours and day actually work. What this means this is for normal shift, first shift, second shift is fine. But the employees that are working in third shift, people will be working from 10 p.m. to 6 am. In that case, the 10 p.m. to 6 am each day the house should apply because most of the hours the employees are working across the day. After 12 am the employees are working. In that case, where the house, the total hours should contribute whether to Monday or Tuesday. I'm working from Monday 10 p.m. to 6 am Tuesday. So my house, where it should go to, whether all the hours should go to Monday or all the hours should go to Tuesday. So if I choose schedule in day, all my hours for that particular day will go to Monday. If I choose schedule out day, the day I'm punching out, Tuesday, all my hours will go to schedule out day. Day with majority hours means which day I'm working more hours. In this case, I'm working 10 p.m. to 12 am on Monday and then 12 p.m. to 6 am on Tuesday. So more hours on Tuesday, so that will go to Tuesday. It will be randomly defined. Day actually worked means it will separate it. 2 hours you have worked on Monday 10 p.m. to 12 p.m. It goes to Monday. Then 12 p.m. to again 5 am. Whatever you have worked on Tuesday, it will segregate for both the days. Clear on this? I'm going with schedule in day itself. So schedule in day just for the same day. When we have punched in the day which we have punched in, all the hours worked on that particular shift will go to that day. And if it's two different days, then it's for that area only because we will have this confusion. If that day, so that's what 10 p.m. to 6 am, I'm having a shift. Monday 10 p.m. to Tuesday 6 am. So if I choose schedule in day, whatever the hours I worked on that particular shift will count to Monday's total. It will consider that Monday I have worked 8 hours. If I choose schedule out day, it will say I have worked 8 hours on Tuesday. If I choose days with majority hours, which day I have worked more hours. In this case, I have worked more hours on Tuesday, only around 6 hours. So the entire hours goes to Tuesday. Day actually work means I have to segregate. So after toll layer goes to Monday, after toll lane goes to Tuesday. We have created these items now. So let's assign these to our payroll. So let's go to the payrolls. We'll pick our payroll. Let's first start with the fixer tool. We'll pick our fixer tool, Australian F. Then processing matter. We're not going to do anything. Punch interpretation tool. We have our own punch interpretation tool. Then sign off restriction. We have our own. Let's put that also done. So that's it. And again, as I told you, Kiran, we have created holidays in this holiday list. Whatever the holidays needed in this holiday, what we did is we just give the holiday name, what date the holiday is. So where to see which symbolize are applicable for what holidays, that is through payrolls. We have a different tab called holiday tab. We can choose what are the holidays which is applicable to the payer, this particular pay. So I'm selecting few holidays here and I'll just click on update version and save. So these embers will have these holidays and the items whichever we have created. And the weeks of total processing, not a bunch of impressions also. Now it's time we'll test it out to our payroll. Let's pick the employee with whom we have assigned this. I'm not sure whether this is the guy. So now let's test our payroll. This is the employee we have assigned to it. First item we are going to see is, let me say I'll go to next paper. So you can see now the pay period is coming for 2 weeks, which is based on our fixed payroll, 14 days. You can see that. So first fixed payroll is working. And now we need to have chosen schedule in day. So whatever the hours work, we go to that particular day. You see here if I put 8 am to maybe 2, even if it's crossing the total am and the total hours is going into that particular day only, it's not going to the next date. Even after total, he's working 2 hours. That is also going to Monday's hours only. So fixed payroll is working properly. Our pay period has changed to 14 days. And we see all the hours working goes into the in-punch day. The day he has in-punched, so that's fine. First item is working. Second item is the punch interpretation tool. It just means like second. We'll just test it out, the miss punch. Let's say I'll put 4:30 p.m. here. It shouldn't allow us to save it. We have a sign-off restriction. Let's see. If we have saved it now, let me try to approve and then sign off. Approve, I think it would allow. But after that signing off, it shouldn't allow. This is pretty. Next. We're not signing off. We can do only on the previous pay period. So how do we test it out now? Time. 1 second man I need to assign. This payroll is assigned to the employee with the effective data. First of this month, I'll just change it to some previous date. From 11th of November it's assigned. So we need to test it out for previous date means. I need to give it a little bit back. Previous paper it is. We're on 10/2/3. This payroll with effective data sign off, we can test it only on the previous paper. So we're 10.23. Well, what was this error? No, it was just throwing out the refresher. System like before sign off, I can open this page. So once I refresh, it will go sometimes to go. There will be lack of this. That's fine. Just refreshing it so that it's. Now let me do one thing. I'll just delete these punches and I'll put a misser. Now this day the employee has started 6 am, but he has not made. He might have missed to Kongil. Or sometimes the system might have some issues and it didn't capture his punch. So now he hasn't. Let me try to sign off. You can see here. The time cut cannot be signed up because it contains one or more violations. And the violation, it is stating what is the violation. It's stating miss punch. You can see missing punches. So for unexcused absence of missing punches, we can have this, but unexcused absence will not be mostly using it. For missed punches, we'll be using it missed punches because the employee has worked his total hours and missed out. If you see, the currently is having 0. Only if the manager fixed it with 6am, then it will allow him to get the payment. So it will affect the payment. So mostly we'll have it for Mr. Punch. So that is one thing. Then we have tested sign-up restrictions also. Next to what we do. So sign-off restriction. Now we need to test the punch interpretation. So As per our punch interpretation, if the employee starts at 8 am, up to, he will if he punches at up to 7 am. It should consider it to be in the same line with the shift. If he's punching before 7 am, it should leave him out of the shift. So I'm punching it. It's still showing alley, but it is considering along with the shift itself. So now let me try to put it at 6:30 am. I'm trying to save it. Now it went out of the shift because that's how we have created our punch interpretation. We opened the punch interpretation rule so that we get an idea of what exactly we are testing. So up to 1 hour before its early start margin, it will keep us within the shift, and same of our late start also. So if you are testing up to 7 am, it allowed us inside the same line. Once we go beyond 1 hour, it will consider it to be an unscheduled punch. Clear on what we are testing? And again, we have another item which is before 2 hours. If the employee tries to punch in, it should reject the punch. So that means by the system. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to test it. This will happen through clocks. So you might must, as the shift is starting at 8 am, if I'm trying to punch in by 4:50 am. Now here in the time cut it's allowing, but usually how the employee do is they will swipe in a swipe port. When they are swiping in and out, if you put a restriction of 2 hours in that device, it will say the punch is rejected and it will not work. And same for the latent restriction. After 1 hour, his shift is ending at 4:30 p.m. if he's trying to punch out after 5:30 p.m. As per all the configuration which we have created, but the particular clock or the device which he is using to swipe port will reject this punch. If we manually enter, it will accept it because we are not the employee, we are the super user. We can enter whatever the hours we want in the time card. Same goes to the manager also. Manager also can enter as it is time cut. But if an employee is trying to swipe in or if the employee is trying to enter the punches, it will reject it. That is about the punch integration rule. So sign off restriction, we have seen fixable results are completed and punch integration rule is completed. So last one is holiday. So we saw how we have created holiday for the entire company. And also we saw in our payroll how we are assigning the holidays based on a particular location or a particular country or a particular region. We can select what are the holidays applicable to that particular period. Now we need to see how an employee is getting paid for this. How many hours should be paid? How it is getting paid? How many? And what pay code he needs to get paid for a holiday. So that all depends on holiday credit rules. So what this does is example, I'll open this holiday credit. We can assign this to a payroll or the work rule. What this does is we need to first to see how we are going to pay him and is there any condition for the holiday credit to be provided. Say we can say the employee should work before and after the day to get the holiday credit. If he is not working before or after the day, that means pardon. He is not eligible for holiday credit. We can give like conditions or we can give this condition either 1 day before or after he should be working. Only then he'll get the holiday credit. We can define these conditions here. And there are some other options like there are work history, boldface, which is not needed. And we can also have these items. To get a particular holiday credit, the employee should be at least employee for 30 days or 90 days. Like usually, the companies will have probation periods. It will be 3 months or 6 months. In that particular time, particular company has a room for not giving any holidays credit on that. But they will be able to take clean, but there are no payment for that. We can define it here. We can say in over 90 days. So for 90 days from the time to employee, first 90 days, you will get any holiday credit. After 90 days only, you'll start up to 80. So these condition we can give, or it can be based on the time employed, or it can be based on the time he's active on the application. Time employed means some people might be employed. They might start this month, and after 2 months, they might go into maternity leave, and then they will come back after 1 year. So 6 months or 7 months. In that case, this particular day's employee will not work because it will just see the higher date. But in that case, high active can work because they have worked only 2 months and then now they are in it. They will come back again after 6 or 7 months and then they will work 1 or 2 months. So only then. This will consider to be 90 days. That is difference between days employed and days had. These are just conditions. What are the conditions to be met to provide a holiday credit? The credit, this is just the eligibility as I said here. So credits is here in this column. Here we will define whether it's a fixed number of hours or hours from this schedule. So other items, we will not be mostly using it. The two items which we will be using it is fixed number of hours and hours from this schedule. Hours from this schedule means it is pretty straightforward. For that particular day, what schedule he's having. This guy is having AM to 4:30 p.m. and out of that 30 minutes break. That means he's having 8 hours schedule. So apparently it will provide 8 hours of holiday credit. If an employee is having 6 hours schedule, it will provide 6 hours of holiday credit. Apparently, it will fetch it from the schedule. What schedule he has, how many number of hours he has scheduled, it will provide that. Or if you want to give them the fixed hours, we can. I'm going to give irrespective of what he is having. I'm going to give him all the holidays in 8 hours. And the next item here is which pay code. Here we are using a pay code called holiday credit. If you want to choose a different pay code and pay him in a different way, we can choose all the pay codes which we have created about T1.U 2.5. Everything will be here. What pay code the particular credit needs to go, we can select it from here. So here, by default, it is having a collect credit paid code called holiday credit. It's using that. So other items, we need not to change anything. It will be by default what it is there. Everything goes on to what pay code we have selected here. So only thing we need to choose there is whether it's based on the hours from the schedule or fixed number of hours. If it is fixed number of hours, we need to give what hours. If you are choosing hours from the schedule, no need to give anything. Amount will automatically consider from the shift to the employee hours. And again, if we choose hours from the schedule, there is one more option. If there are multiple shifts for a day, what shift the system should consider. We can use the first shift, use the sum of all shifts. Usually it will not happen for a particular day, but I will have only one shift. So this is in case if an employee is working in night shift 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and again next day also you have 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. In that case you can say use the first shift. And here again, the same thing hours belong to. If an employee is in the third shift, which day the hour should belong to, whether it should belong to in day out day, day with majority hours, or day actually worked. Or we can directly say, no need to confuse anything, whatever we have given already in the fixed route, let it follow the same thing. So usually we'll do that, only use fixed route setting. Mostly this will be like fixed hours, only they will be getting 8 hours of credit for each of the hours they worked on the holiday. So this is actually holiday credit. Basically, if an employee doesn't work on the holiday, because usually will not work on the holiday, but these hourly employees are entitled to get payment for public holidays. So that is a purpose we have this. Let me just duplicate this and I'll create a new one for Austin. I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to change it to lefty. We are going to give the employee 8 hours of credit with respect to what he has worked under the. This, I think you need to map it in work rule. Let me just see. So how do I get it through current days? I'm just using the master lefty. That's it from here. So with this, we have almost completed all the items in the pay policies. Please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@therightuptalk.com.